Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. Thank you for joining me today. And if you're a new viewer, welcome. Thank you for checking me out. If you're my regular viewers, thank you so much for returning. I really appreciate you. So let me talk to you this morning. It's morning where I'm at, about Liz Cheney. Now I know my spirit guides talked about Liz Cheney months ago, really and truly. Told everybody months ago, Liz Cheney is going to be the driving force to watch out for, and that she was going to be battling to be the new head of the Republican Party. Here we are. It is December 26th, and here we are. Liz Cheney has made all kinds of very bold moves to prove that she is and will be the new queen of the Republican Party. But why does that matter to you? Well, it matters to you for a lot of reasons. First of all, she's going to take Trump down. She's going to take down several of her compadres, several House members. She's going to be the one that fires the shots, is what they're showing me right now. She is the one that... you know, they're showing me Dick Cheney, right? I mean, they don't care. They go for the shot. They try to get what they need done. They don't take the circuitous route. They don't care if they step on somebody's toes. They don't care if they hurt somebody's feelings. In other words, they're not Democrats. Yes, so she's going to take them down. Now, here's what my guides told me over the holiday break. I don't do a lot of political videos because honestly, I want to be able to have something to say to you, and I wait for my guides to really bring something to my attention, right? So this is what they brought to my attention. And that is that, so Liz Cheney is going after the Republican Party. She's not just going after the former guy. She's going after the whole party. What that means for you and me and any other literally sane, normal person worldwide, not just in the United States, is that these people are finally going to be brought to justice. That's what it means. She's going to do our dirty work for us. Now, imagine, if you will, you've got all these Democrats and they've got, white gloves on. They can't get dirty. And this is what's been happening, right? Because let's face it, they're about to name some of their own colleagues as potentially having created or committed crimes. That's a big deal, right? There's professional courtesy in all professions, right? Police, doctors, attorneys, everybody has professional courtesy. Nobody wants to be the one that brings down another attorney or another cop or another doctor or another House of Representatives member. Right? So she doesn't care. She's willing to get dirty. She's willing to do whatever it takes to do what she wants to do, to get what she wants. So in this situation, what we have happening is the Democrats are basically trying to stay out of the mud. And Liz Cheney is wading right in there, waist deep. And she will scrap with any of those people. Because what does she want? She wants to be the queen of the Republican Party. If she can't be the queen of the Republican Party, she's going to tear it down and start a new one. That's what they told me. If she can't oust these criminals out of that party, then she will start a new one. Now, what does Liz Cheney want? Because we should also want to know who we're kind of getting in bed with, right? Who are we partnering up with to do our dirty work? What does she want out of the deal? She's not doing it for the kindness and loving goodness of democracy in the United States of America. No, she's not. I mean, she's changed, but she's not, she hasn't changed that much. She's still her father's daughter. Let's remember that. So what does she want? This is why, look, I agree with the Democrats in the sense that, hey, if one of their own wants to go in and be the bad person, and great, let's let them drag each other in the mud and let's stay out of the mud. Okay, I get it. I can go with that. I can understand how they might be thinking that's the right thing to do. But at some point, we're going to be looking at Liz Cheney as a foe and not as an ally. And what does Liz Cheney want? What is her game, right? Why doesn't she just go along with all of this? Why doesn't she just keep her mouth shut and wait for them to implode on their own and then walk in and take the mantle, right? What is her game? Why would she do this? Why would she really stick her neck out? Well, it gets even more interesting than that, to be completely honest with you. How it gets interesting is that my spirit guide showed me. So Liz has already sort of come towards, I want to say the middle, but we all know that the middle is now way over to the right. The middle is no longer the middle. It's a new middle. But she has kind of come to the middle in the Republican idea of the middle, in that, she called her sister up and said, "Oh, I was mistaken, and I'm sorry that I thought that because you were gay, you were an abomination to our family." So she's tried to make amends, and she's tried to say, "Oh, I was wrong. Gay people are normal people, and I was wrong to say otherwise." So that was a big thing. That was her first step, her first correction. What they show me that she's going to do, and this is big, 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 is that she's going to start saying things. Now not right now, because right now she's got a big fight going on. She's got to literally vanquish these people so that she can figure out if she's going to have to start a new party or if she's going to take over the Republican Party as it stands. So she's not going to be announcing this stuff right now. She's got her hands full, and rightly so. But once that happens, once she gets clear of that stuff, and she really starts putting herself out there as a real political figure to be taken seriously, she's going to start saying things like, illegal aliens, immigrants need a path to citizenship. Well, that's going to make people's heads blow up, right? I mean, she's going to say things that are really, truly a little bit more centrist. She's going to say things like, workers do have rights. At this point, we're all going to be like, are we awake? Is this really happening? Pinch yourself. Of course, after the last couple of years, we would believe anything at this point. But she's really going to say that. She's going to say, you know what? I'm okay with a higher minimum wage. What? This Liz Cheney talking? Yeah, she's going to say things like that. And she's going to mean it. And we're all going to fall in love with her. The way some of you Democrats are already falling in love with her. She's our savior. She's the only one with any cojones. She's the only one that has the guts to do this stuff, is what I hear people saying. And that's true. But you got to pay the price for it. And the price is going to be that you're going to have a Liz Cheney that's going to reinvent herself, and she's going to look much more like a centrist, a middle of the ground kind of person, kind of politician. And she's going to ride that horse all the way right up to the White House lawn and walk up the stairs with it too. Because how are you going to combat somebody who just stole half of your platform, but still a Republican? So she can bring all the Republicans. This is it's a bad joke. It really is. But all the Republicans that are still alive at this point, God bless them. May their souls rest in peace. But really and truly, all the ones that have maybe had some wake-up calls due to the choices they've made, and what they're showing me right now is, there's really been a shift in working Democrats that went Republican in the last 15 years. There's been a shift in working Democrats, working class Democrats that have gone Republican in the last 15 years. She's going to scoop all of them up, including some middle of the road Democrats and some centrists, some independents, because she really is going to mean all that. So what's to hate? So why should we be concerned? Right? Why should we be concerned about this? Well, because she's still a dyed-in-the-wool capitalist. You know, Henry Ford is the one who said, I'm going to build cars and I'm going to employ people that I can afford my cars. He got it. He got the whole thing that Republicans don't understand. If you want me to buy something, I need to make enough money to buy it. So pay me more and I'll buy your products. It's never made sense to me why they don't get that, right? But that's where Liz Cheney comes in. She gets it. I'll pay you more money, you'll buy more of my products. So she's not really for unions. She's not really for, child care, abortion. She's not really for those things. But because the Republican Party has slid so far right, she's going to look like a darn liberal comparatively. And that's going to be really, really tempting to a lot of people. So I feel like, yes, let's support her in the way that get out of her way. Because if we just get out of her way, she's got all the facts. And she's got the moxie to take these people down. Let's let her do it. But let's not get too comfortable. She's still a wolf in sheep's clothing. So let's not get too comfortable with her, okay? So the last thing I wanted to say to you guys about this briefly is that what can you do? You know, what is relevant right now? Like right now, let's say January 1, 2022. What do I need to do? What do I need to be thinking about? Well, you need to be thinking about your local races, your local political races. You need to be thinking about registering people. You know, Texas, God bless me that I'm in Texas. I don't know why. I just don't. Anyway, let's not go there. Believe it or not, Texas always had a thing, no matter where you moved within the state of Texas, that if you checked a box when you went to put in your change of address at the post office, it would just update your voter registration. So your voter registration would just follow you wherever you went. Well, I live kind of where two counties meet. So it's common for me to go from one county to another county when I move. And I recently moved. And because of these new laws that some of the states have put in that have really attacked our voting rights, that's no longer, I'm not registered anymore. My registration didn't follow me. There was no way for me to easily make that happen. I literally have to go re-register. Now, how many people are going to re-register? Literally, you guys, I would put in my change of address, and a month later, I would get a new voting card. It was easy peasy. And when I got the voting card, what does it remind you to do? Vote. So if you're an occasional voter, you're still going to get that voting card, and it's going to remind you to vote, right? Which I think is so important. So what you can do is register voters. First of all, register voters, register voters, register voters. Second thing you can do, dig into your local politics. I think this personally repulses me. It repulses me because when I see this kind of stuff happening on the national scale, I can shake my head and say, God, those people are crazy or whatever, right? But when it's happening and I happen to know that person who's running for office and I know that they're a scumbag, it's a whole level of like hopelessness. Like, okay, like recently, a guy that I know really well just announced that he's running for one of our state races, our state congressional races, because the guy that had that spot is super crazy conservative. I mean, like whack job conservative. He's pushing out the Senate guy. So that guy's moving on. So this scumbag is going to be moving into that person's spot. But so it actually makes you feel even less like you have any kind of control, even though you should have more because it's local, right? But what I'm telling you is it's so important. My guides have been saying this for at least a year and a half. Everything is local. Everything is local. That's where these laws were made, is in your local state. Your local state is the one who took away your voting rights. So we have to get involved, okay? Somebody's going to have to run, right, for office. Somebody's going to have to support that person. Give them $25, give them $50, give them $5, whatever you can do. Show up to their rallies, show up to their meet and greets. Bring a friend, bring a neighbor. Look, we are being pushed out of our comfort zone here. If we don't do this, then we got no right to complain, period. And I'm talking to me. I have got to figure out who's running against this guy, or give him hell. Even though, well, he's kind of a quasi person I know. I'm going to have to hold him to it. I'm going to have to keep him from being too conservative, because the only people show up to his meet and greets are these whack-job conservative people. Then he's going to start leaning more and more right, thinking he needs to do that to get the vote. If me and all my liberal and, maybe even centrist people show up and start saying, hey, we will vote for you, but you're going to have to be less right and more center. We have an opportunity here to make this guy change a notch to the left, the center, or the right. And the guy that's running he's really not crazy. He's actually a decent guy. He's advertising that he's super conservative, but I don't think he is. I mean, he's not a liberal, but I don't think he's a conservative. So by showing up in a group and talking to him and saying, hey, we got 20 people here. This is not a big race. In my area, swear to God, 20 votes can swing a race. Look at your local races and I promise you're going to see it doesn't take a lot to swing a local race. And if it's down to 5 people and you're not one of those people, then again, we have nothing to complain about because we didn't do it in our own backyard, right? So that's what the guides want to say. If you want to do something that's really going to have an impact, if you want to really, really have a direct impact on something, it's your local races. Now, I will end this by saying that, and I'm going to just check in with them because I honestly didn't talk to them about this before I did this video. And I don't want to go off, without having really talked to them. Right. Okay. All right. Right. Okay. So, a while back, I did a video where I said that the filibuster was going to have to be changed. I don't think I would, look, if we had some Liz Cheneys in the Democratic Party, if we had some firebrands, and I guess we do. I mean, I guess AOC and some of those people are, but they're just not, they're just not as pushy. We're just not pushy. But I feel like if we had more firebrands, we would get rid of the filibuster. We would just get rid of it. It needs to go. It's just outdated. It's outdated. It needs to go. Now, what they had showed me a few months ago was the filibuster being changed or adapted in some way. And that very well could happen because Biden just came out and said that he would be in support of that. But I'm going to tell you that the filibuster, 2 things have to go, okay? 2 things have to change for us to move forward. And the pressure is just mounting and mounting and mounting. It's like that friend that never does anything but complains all the time. That's the Democratic Party. You're like, if you would just do something, your life would get a lot better. That's the Democratic Party in a nutshell. So the pressure is mounting and mounting and mounting on them to do something. And you have Liz Cheney over there banging at it too. But the 2 things that need to change is the filibuster needs to go and we need to put some more seats on the Supreme Court. So we all know Biden likes to be very gentle, with his governing. He doesn't want to upset the boat. He wants he wants us to bring us in for a gentle landing instead of a crash landing, right? I mean, that's really what he wants. And he's doing a good job, but it's taken a lot longer than most of us would like. So I do see, and everybody sees this, I think, new seats coming in on the Supreme Court. I think Biden knows through his own intelligence, his own intel, that that 2 or 3 of these Supreme Court justices are going to be out, and he's going to have an opportunity to fill those roles, and that's how he wants to do it. That's how he wants to do it. He does not want the precedent of having to add Supreme Court justices to the court, even though we all know, you and I know, that the former guy or anybody else would add justices to the court in a minute. They don't care about precedent. They don't care about how things have always been done. They don't care. Right? And I'm not sure that Liz Cheney cares either, to be honest with you. But the 2 things that need to change, Supreme Court and the filibuster. I want to say that through the pressure of Biden saying publicly that I'm okay with the filibuster changing, that's going to put pressure on the Joe Manchins, certain people. And of course we have a couple of Democrats that have to act crazy, but it's going to put pressure on them, because basically we're going to, the thing I need to say, we're going to pass the Voting Rights Act one way or another. How do you want to pass it? Do you want us to get rid of the filibuster, or would you like to just come over here and work out a better version of it for you? Right? It's just like when they announced the January 6th commission and they asked the Republicans to be a part, and the Republicans were like, no, we're never going to do that. And then they wanted to give us, Jim Jordan, the one guy that literally is implicated in January 6th. And, Pelosi said, no, we'll take these 2 Republicans that aren't implicated, right? It's just like that. They gave up their right to be in the Jan 6 commission, and now they're ruining that day. Here we are for a redo. Do you want to be involved in this, passing this bill and making it a bill that better suits or better fits or whatever your needs as a Republican? Or do you want us to just disregard you completely and change the filibuster? This is where we're at. This is what I hear them saying in January. We're going to pass the Voting Rights Act in January or in the spring. The problem is that we've waited so long to do it that now I don't know that it's going to go into effect by the midterms. I just see them going to court. I feel like the courts, they're telling me something about the courts have to get involved. And had we done this in September, right? If we had just thrown the filibuster out and passed this bill, we wouldn't be behind the 8 ball. That's what they're saying. We wouldn't be so far behind that now we have to do things through the courts. I don't understand what they're saying through the courts. Maybe, right. Okay, what they're saying is the bill doesn't fix all the problems. It gives us an opportunity to go to the court to fix the problem. Right? So what got taken away from us by the Supreme Court was the ability for the United States to say, Alabama, Texas, you guys are discriminatory. We're going to take over your voting, the maps and the gerrymandering and all of that because it's discriminatory. And we're going to oversee it. That got taken away from us. So what this does is it allows us, once again, for the United States to say, Texas and Alabama and Mississippi and Florida, all the Republican states, that you guys are discriminatory and therefore we're going to do these things. And I think that we have to, what they're telling me is somehow the court is involved in that. I don't understand that part. But the good news is we're going to pass it one way or another. We're going to pass it We have to pass it. Our democracy depends upon it. So we're going to pass the Voting Rights Act, which is good news. So I hope this has been interesting and helpful to you. If it has been interesting and helpful, please consider subscribing. Costs you absolutely nothing, and it really helps me out because YouTube likes it. And what YouTube likes, then that helps me and my videos and my channel. So I appreciate it. Also, if you could hit the thumbs up, I would appreciate that as well. If you have any comments, please leave them below. I most often answer your comments. If you have specific questions, I'm very active in the comments section, so you'll see that as well. I also have a Patreon channel. You can check that out. I will leave a link in the description, and I will also leave a link to readings. I offer psychic and mediumship readings as well, so I will leave a link to that as well. Thank you guys so much. Many blessings for an amazing 2022, and we got this. We're going to get it done, or at least Liz Cheney's going to get it done for us anyway, and then we'll just have to pay the Pied Piper when time comes, right? You guys take care, and we'll talk soon. For entertainment purposes only.